We're going to take our viewers back to New York City now. This is Fox News. They are on live rolling coverage of what we understand is an active shooter situation. It's in downtown Manhattan. It's just gone 7:30 p.m. Let's take you live there now.
Real estate, and those are big, big corporate headquarters.
Yes, Blackstone, Steve Schwartzman's multi-billion-dollar fund, of course, occupies that building. We have been told, I have been told, that victims or EMS is responding to victims on the 33rd floor. So we're trying to determine as best as we can what office or what company may have been targeted by this active shooter.
There are photos up. We're not going to put them up yet, but there are photos of what looks to be the individual carrying a rifle. Again, reports in the Post and elsewhere that he was carrying a rifle. Unclear if he had other weapons on his person. But you know, it's a absolutely shocking photo to see someone walking across a plaza on Park Avenue openly carrying a rifle in his hand and looking very casual as he's doing that. And again, we don't know if the photo was before or after or how this photo was taken, but it looks like it was taken from a building window or a security camera hanging outside one of the local nearby structures. So Midtown shootout, and we'll say, Eric, and you and I know this area well, this is one of the busiest times of the day for lawyers and other corporate workers, people in retail, not too far from the Diamond District. You know, obviously places like Radio City Music Hall, Rockefeller Center, all of this is nearby, and Trump Tower is not far. But yeah, it's all central. Yeah, it's all centrally located.
More than a couple. Yeah, 5 blocks. It's across the street from the headquarters of Colgate-Palmolive, for example. And you mentioned photos that you see that I don't have access to. But one has to wonder, how did this gunman then get access into the building? You have to go in, you have to go past lobby security, you have to go up in an elevator in order to get up to the 33rd floor. So these are all questions investigators will have. The latest that we have, of course, preliminary, not confirmed officially, that the shooter is down. The shooter killed himself with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. At least 6 people have been wounded in this, multiple victims, I understand, in the stairwell. This occurring by the 33rd floor. And a New York City police officer, we understand, has also been shot. He obviously responding to these reports of a man, as you say, with a rifle here in Midtown Manhattan, right in the heart of the corporate world. We've had so much criticism of corporations. We don't want to speculate on the exact cause. This could be a personal situation. This could be an employee who was fired. This could potentially have a political bent. Who knows? Authorities will find out everything about the motivation and who this person is. It is far too early to speculate on any type of motive, exactly why this tragedy is unfolding as we speak.
Eric, the man in the New York Post coverage, which is more extensive now, seen wearing a blazer, a button-down shirt, dark sunglasses, as he's carrying what appears to be a AR-style rifle with a strap, and you know, it looks like he might have a suppressor on the barrel of the AR-style rifle. It's hard to tell in this photo, but it's definitely an AR-style rifle. And again, he's not running in this photo; he's casually walking. And the New York Post has these photos. So that would tell you potentially with the blazer and a button-down shirt, you've got a preppy style of an executive, perhaps, who may be taking out his anger against one of the companies there. We don't know. We don't know.
That would indicate that, but is of course far too early as this unfolds, and we will find out exactly what happened here. But right now, the whole part of Midtown is frozen at the moment as they are responding to those who are still in distress.
Yeah. Well, we haven't confirmed that this is the shooter, but it's hard to imagine someone would be strolling along Park Avenue with an AR-style rifle casually with a blazer and a button-down shirt and not be the shooter. So that'd be pretty easy to distinguish. Eric, thank you.
Sure, of course.
Eric, thank you very much. We got to go to former Secret Service agent Richard Starpoli. He's with us now. Richard, I know you've seen some of the reporting. Some of it we've been able to confirm. We're awaiting details in a briefing from NYPD. But this photo is chilling, and it's a reminder of other similar photos in some of the school shootings where these individuals walk into a school, maybe through a side door, and they seem very casual about it. It has an eerie air about it, that's for sure.
It is an incredible eerie air about it, and it is extremely close to being the same type of situation that we've seen these active shooters who've walked into these schools do. The only difference here is now we've seen it in, the largest city in the United States, the streets of Manhattan, at evening rush hour. Gentleman's walking down the street carrying an AK-47 very casually after he's apparently just shot up a major Midtown office building.
Or is en route if this indeed is the shooter in this photo, but it's now across multiple outlets. Again, the report we have is that the shooter turned the gun on himself and shot himself. That is one source to Fox and NYPD. Again, we're waiting. They're coming forward with a briefing at any moment. But the FBI is responding. We also know Kathy Hochul, the governor, has been briefed. Yep. It is a very chaotic situation in Midtown Manhattan. And again, we're not going to confirm or give other details about who this individual might be. All of that will come out in due time, or his ethnicity. There's a lot of stuff flying around about that, but we're not going to do that until we confirm this. But I will say this, Richard, in a situation like this, we all think of other tragedies in New York. We think of 9/11 and the police presence there. I don't remember a police presence like this except at the post-George Floyd riots up and down the major thoroughfares in New York. I don't remember seeing this many, except maybe when Trump was at Madison Square Garden. This is quite something to watch.
Well, listen, when you have the largest police department in the world located in New York City, this is exactly the type of thing where you put the call out to have every one of your men and women assemble. This is exactly what the NYPD does best, and that's handle large-scale mass events, unfortunately, such as this one. If, in fact, the shooter did turn the weapon on himself and kill himself, that's just one other take on what we would have called the suicide bomber. Right? Instead of blowing himself up, the guy just shot himself and brought an end to this. But the New York City Police Department now has to deal with the aftermath of whatever went on here, whatever was going to go on, and has to start asking themselves, are there other shooters out there, and has to deal with the entire city. So even though it may be this situation confined to this one area, New York is still a really, really large city that has to be policed because we've got to make sure there's nothing else ready to go on at any moment.
We're showing a shot from WNYW of an overhead shot of a car with its flashers on that the police seem very interested in. We don't know more about that than they're hovering around this one vehicle. We don't know if that's the shooter's vehicle or perhaps an accomplice's vehicle. Again, we're waiting for NYPD. And sources are telling us that the security guard at the building on Park Avenue was shot. So we were wondering, we were wondering how that individual was able to gain access to the building. Alexis McAdams is with us on the phone, and she's doing reporting from the scene. Alexis, what can you tell us?
Hey, Laura. So I just got off the phone with a couple NYPD sources who were all dispatched. Like a couple of them weren't even working, and they all got called down to the scene there in Midtown Manhattan, which is right by Fox. I mean, you know the area, you know where it is, like by Rockefeller Center, to lay it out for people. It's so busy there with people coming and going from work, especially this building specifically. So the two sources I was talking to, Laura, said that the NYPD officer who was shot was in the lobby. So he wasn't on duty. He was working security for this building in Midtown. And somebody walks in armed with a rifle, they said, pulls out that rifle, shoots him in the lobby, shoots one other person in the lobby, according to the NYPD sources, and then is able to somehow move around the building. So they go up through the elevator, went to a couple of other floors, I'm being told, and at least 3 people were shot there. Different conditions at this time. They can't get into the building because, like, as you were just talking to these experts too and law enforcement guys who know how this works, you know, they get in the building and try to make sure there's not a second shooter. So they don't know what they're walking into at this point. So that's why they're trying to sweep the area before they can get an update on these people's conditions. The NYPD does say, though, according to the sources on the scene, that the gunman then shot himself on the 33rd floor. And as you mentioned, there's quite a few businesses that are in there on all those different floors. So we got to figure out, what's on the 33rd floor? Why was he going up there?
Well, there's concern that there are individuals still hiding in the building, people who are workers in the building, other staffers. This was kind of toward the end of the day that this was, this went down. But it is I don't know how many stories the building is, but clearing that building, it cannot be easy. I mean, you tell people to evacuate, but some people might be too afraid to move.
Yeah, and I think usually what happens, when you're in these active shooter situations, is they do tell people, shelter in place. They might be getting those internal emails from these companies. People don't know what to do. They probably could be trying to listen into your show right now, and their parents are too, and their families wondering what is going on. But to know this can happen, we see what happens across the country. To know it's happening in this building right now in Midtown Manhattan, you got to feel for these poor people, and we're going to keep working to get information as the NYPD is supposed to have a press conference to tell everyone what's really going on. How did this person get in the building? Is there a second gunman? How many people are hurt? And is the police officer going to survive?
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised, although they're in the middle of this, Alexis, that we haven't had a full update from police at this point. It's a little bit unusual. But again, things are still going down because in the absence of facts, there are a lot of things out there about who this individual was, what his motivations may be, political or otherwise, what he was wearing, what kind of gun he had and held, and of course, whether or not he was known to the individuals in the building. This was whether this was some type of corporate grudge, political grudge, or just someone trying to, become famous in death. We don't know any of that. And again, there's a lot of speculation, people, texting, tweeting this photo, that we don't know. Until it's confirmed,
so
we do not know.
On social media, too. Like you said, people identify and figure things out so quickly on social media, sometimes quicker, than the authorities can respond. So we are hearing that a couple of the NYPD investigators who are high up in the department do know already who this gunman is. He's been identified. And so maybe they'll be able to give that information at the press conference.
Yeah.